to the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast, where we don't take from insurance companies. Here are your hosts, Mr. Jordan Comstock and Mr. Ben Tuine. This podcast is sponsored by BoomCloud Dental Membership Software, www.boomcloudapps.com, and Veritas Dental Resources, www.veritasdentalresources.com. Enjoy the show.
Hey there, folks. Welcome to another exciting episode of our Say No to PPOs podcast series. My name is Ben Tuine. I got my co-host Jordan Comstock. How's it going, Jordan?
Good, Ben. How you doing, man?
Man, you know, it's nice. It's getting warm. It's
I know.
March
I'm finally
13th.
excited.
Yeah, I know. Grass is getting greener with the neighbors. I think last time I said only my yard was green, but everywhere else is getting green too.
Yeah, plants are starting to come up. It's nice here now.
Yeah. So if you're in a part of the country that's still storming, you know, our heart goes out to you. But
yeah, I spoke to a practice over in the East Coast, and I guess they're going to get a big storm there tonight or something.
I know.
And I'm happy that I live here now.
I know. It's snowing like crazy. I was speaking to a friend up in Toronto, and they said that they haven't had a real winter. It's been really cold lately, but they haven't had the snow. And he sent me a picture of his backyard, and it looks like the islands. It's like, holy smokes, you got all your plants and trees, and it was just all green. But well, welcome everybody. I hope life is great for everybody. So today we don't have a guest today. Jordan and I feel like there's so much for us to cover, and we want to answer the questions that we're getting from a lot of the listeners across the country. And because Jordan is an expert with membership programs, in-house membership programs within dental offices, and then I myself being an expert on insurance-related matters regarding billing, negotiating with insurance carriers, we do tend to field a lot of questions around what we do. And so today we want to talk about some of the questions surrounding the mistakes, things that you should avoid when building an in-house membership program. Fortunately, Jordan has already answered these questions. If you check out Dentistry IQ, Jordan writes articles for them quite regularly. You have one that just came out recently, right? Last week?
Yeah, last week came on the top podcasts, which were on there, of course.
and that's no bias, right, Jordan? There's so many people that are, you know, we feel fortunate and blessed that people listen to our podcast. But
yeah,
you listed Gary's podcast.
Yep.
The worms, implants, and other stuff podcast.
Yep, Mark Costes.
Mark Costes, who's a great friend. Gary's a great friend of both of us.
Yep. Howard Fran's on there as well. Mike Peterson, his podcast is on there.
Great marketing.
I think that's everyone. I can't remember. Obviously, I mean, I wrote that article a while ago, and it just got published. That's the thing with publishing; they take forever. It seems like. Yeah. But there are a few others that, you know, that I've started to listen to or check out that I think are definitely worthwhile to put on that list. I just wish I would have known about them when I wrote it.
No, that's great. I think, you know, we get feedback from the listeners, and we're not trying to compete against the other podcasts that are out there because I think we're so different, you know. Yeah. We support and appear as guests on other podcasts, but several of the comments that we receive from our listeners is that we bring in local talent. We bring in a fresh perspective on insurance related matters, and you know, it's really a specialized area of dental knowledge, and you know, that's our whole goal. So if anybody has feedback, just go ahead and contact Jordan or myself. We'd love to hear your feedback about the podcast. But for today's episode, the 7 mistakes to avoid when creating an in-house membership program. You want to get into it, Jordan?
Yeah, let's do it. So I wrote this article on dentistryIQ.com that kind of will go over a few things that we're talking about today. And you can just go to dentistryIQ.com. There's a search bar at the top. You can type my name in, Jordan, Jordon, Comstock, Comstock, and you can see actually all my articles that I've written for dentistryIQ.com, and you can find this one as well when you go and read it.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get started here, Ben. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask, you know, I see the list in front of me. So
Sweet.
So I think the first one is the most obvious: systems. Why is a system important with a dental benefit in-house membership program? And I think when you put your business hat on, when you're starting a new dental practice or a new business, you know, you have to put together a pro forma. You have to figure out what capital you need to start the program, but you also need to figure out what type of system are you going to have in place.
How are you going to manage it?
But how can you explain to the listeners why a system within an in-house membership program is just as important as a system as if you're building just a regular standard business?
Yeah, systems are awesome. There's a few books that I recommend about this topic. The first one is E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. In fact, I was able to meet him at a Sirona conference I was speaking at. He was there as the featured speaker, and he did a course about systems. But I recommend that book first, and then the second one, I recommend both. There's two books by the same author, Automatic Customer, which talks about systems on creating recurring revenue, and then Built to Sell. And those two books are both by John Warlow. They're all three of those books that I mentioned talk about systems in business, and it's so critical to have systems in a business. A story I always tell about systems is The Parable of the Pipeline, which is another book that I recommend.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it's by, but it's called The Parable of the Pipeline. I tell this story quite a bit, but it's basically about two men in the ancient times before they had all the technology and everything like we have today, were hired to haul water back and forth from the lake to the city well in their city, right? And the village, they hired these two men, and they paid them on delivery with water, and they gave them buckets to carry back and forth every day, right? And after a while, you can imagine that gets really annoying, carrying buckets back and forth, hauling water.
Before. Yeah,
yeah, it sucks.
It does.
So, but you can imagine that's in a form, that's a system, right? But one of the guys going back and forth, he was getting sick and tired of doing that. It wore his body out. It took a lot of time, and he enjoyed the money he got from this bucket carrying system, but he thought that there ought to be a better way. So he created what we know now today is called a pipeline.
Right.
And you can imagine he spent lots of time building this pipeline, building it from the lake, and it brought water all the way down to the village well automatically, right? Mm-hmm. That right there is an example of a good system.
Right.
And you can apply that, in many parts of the practice, right? You can say I always talk about the CERAC system, right? Years ago, you only had to send crowns out to a lab to get them, done there. But now with the CERAC system, it's very efficient. It's a great tool. Now you can create crowns in minutes in your office, right? Yeah. So that's an example of the system. But same thing with membership programs, right? I know lots of practices that will try to run them off Google Docs and everything, and obviously they can get that work. It can work that way, but I call it the bucket carrying way, right? Where they try to carry buckets when there's a better system out there to manage these programs. Yeah. So so systems are super important, and it gives your staff a process to accomplish a certain task. Right, and it can be repeatable and it's manageable, right? It's not like up in the air. They have got to figure it out and create their own system, and that goes for all aspects of business, not just with membership programs.
Yeah, the nice thing about the pipeline structure is that you spend a lot of money up front in infrastructure, and then it's just maintenance from there. You're not having to spend payroll hours to carry the buckets. As a matter of fact, in many of the large businesses that I've been involved with, on the negotiating side or just business parties that I've attended, they refer to businesses that don't have a system in place for automated or renewing customers. They refer to those businesses as bucket businesses.
Yeah, interesting.
They do.
Very interesting.
If it's a business that is a transaction based where there's a lot of time and hours spent with sales teams, and you only make money per transaction, and they're not reoccurring transactions, they call those bucket businesses. The interesting thing is when you look at most businesses these days, the golden goose that everybody is looking for, or the hen that lays the golden egg, I should say, is everybody's looking for a reoccurring revenue stream or revenue model.
Absolutely.
And that's what that's what you're talking about is a pipeline business. business
Yes.
that can create an infrastructure to turn one customer not into a single transaction, but reoccurring transactions. So I know that,
Absolutely.
we're having this business conversation, and many of you refer to customers as patients, and you relate it in the same way. And so the system that Jordan's talking about, it is a very, very important part of the future of almost every business that you talk about there. Look at Walmart. Look at Walmart. What has Walmart done that is similar to what Amazon does? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
People are shopping online now. Reoccurring transactions keep on going on and on. Like I have automated payments both on Walmart and Amazon.
Yeah,
And
me too.
that's the model,
No, that is,
So systems. So I guess, Jordan, that leads us into the second component of your 7 mistakes is automated payments. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so with membership programs, obviously there's usually two types of payments, right? Yearly and monthly payments that a patient will pay your practice to get certain benefits and discounts. And what I've noticed just talking to a whole bunch of practices just around the nation, I'm specifically thinking about a practice here in Utah, though, that has a membership program, and they are not automating payments, and they're doing monthly plans for their patients, which means, I'm thinking about another practice as well that's doing this in another state. There's multiple.
Right.
But basically what happens here is that if you're offering monthly or even yearly plans and not automating payments, it's going to cause an administrative burden for your staff, right? If your staff has to manually charge a card each month for that patient on the program, the staff's not going to want to grow that program.
No.
Because it's too much of a burden. It's too it's like I don't want to get hundreds of patients doing this, a month.
Yeah.
And I know practices that do have like 150, I think this practice had. They had 150 patients signed up on their membership program, and this office manager was manually running their cards and even calling the patients up each month and saying, "Hey, is it okay if we run your card?"
Oh no.
Right? You can imagine that's just not efficient, and it's not. And the office manager hates it.
Right.
She loves the idea of a membership program, but she hates having to manually do everything there because it just takes so much of her time. It's really ends up being more like time consuming, just like, following up with insurance companies,
I'm
So
guilty of that. When I first started my business, I actually, I didn't know any better. And I ran all my credit cards manually, but I didn't call up the client to get permission because we already had permission on.
You got permission.
Yes. But I know what you mean. I was running on any given month for the first 6 months in business, over 200 transactions every month. And it was so intimidating. I was like, great. I have to dedicate this whole day. I'm going to be spending punching digits into the Chase Orbital Gateway.
The lab was the same way, man, doing that. And it was a pain. And I tried automating that as much as I could in the lab. But that's the thing out there, as I see with not automating payments. It's so critical, and to put a membership program in your practice and have your staff excited to push it, you don't want to add stupid little tasks like that. It just adds their, it spreads their time. They get spread thin is what I'm trying to say. And they don't want to grow something, and then it just hurts your overall business, when they don't want to grow a membership program or anything else, right?
Yep. With so much technology out there, I mean, automated payments is so easy to do.
Yeah.
And especially through your program, it's a requirement.
It's all automated.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the first the thing that when we built the software to make it, automate monthly and yearly payments.
Yeah. I guess that leads into the third thing, Jordan, which is automatic patient renewals.
Yeah.
You talk about the pipeline business, and you
absolutely.
You look at Amazon memberships or Costco memberships. So I just got my Costco rewards certificate a couple weeks ago. And it's a pretty nice $650 check that we get to go ahead and cash at Costco. But
nice.
That's what we're going to use to pay for our annual subscription of, I think it's $100 or so. But the annual renewals, if I don't pay it, it automatically comes out on the credit card. Same thing with our Amazon, our monthly renewals. And the nice thing about that is we don't have to worry about it. And there are some studies. There was an article that I read. Oh gosh, was it Forbes? I'm not going to quote it, but I'll look it up and maybe post it on the website or show notes.
Yeah.
But it talked about the psychology behind the automated payments and that, automated renewals. In the sense that businesses that go back and try to seek permission from patients to do annual renewals lost a lot of business, as opposed to those that wrote in their agreements that this will renew annually unless given 30-day notice by the customer. So talk about the renewals, patient renewals when it comes to the membership program.
Yeah, so basically, I was talking to a practice the other day on this one, and they had, I think, like close to maybe a little over 200 patients signed up on yearly membership program.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing, it's very similar to automating the just monthly payments, but the biggest thing is that they were experiencing is they were telling me, Jordan, we have to call 200 patients if we want to keep that revenue coming in that we received from them. We have to call 200 patients and automatically or manually, get that payment information again and update their account with us. And as you can imagine, that's a lot of people to call to try to auto renew, right? But if you can just do automatic renewal each year for your membership program, and only allow patients to cancel by calling in and canceling, you're gonna grow it, and you're gonna grow it fast.
And much less attrition too.
Yeah, and that's exactly, less attrition. And I've seen this with a lot of our customers using our software. They've signed up hundreds of patients in there for one practice, and it's all auto renewing, and they love it, right? Because it's less burden on the staff to go ahead and follow up with all those patients. And then it just makes sense because, I try to automate all my bills because I hate sitting down each month and trying to pay all my bills, right? So that also helps the patient, right? They don't have to think about paying all their bills, because it adds up.
It's huge. It's a huge benefit. And it's something being applied in so many different industries. Look at the credit cards. Do you have a credit card that has a fee? Like a lot of these days, you have the American Express Platinum cards.
I have an American Express. Yeah, got a fee.
And we have some clients that even have the American Express exclusive Black card. That's
nice.
That an unlimited amount of spending on that thing, but you pay an annual membership fee. I think it's $3,000 to $5,000, I believe, to be a member of that. But those are automated. You can cancel it and express your cancellation, but otherwise, the agreements that you sign up when you first enroll is that this agreement will renew. And so a lot of practices that I talk to about this as well, they say, well, isn't it a liability if we don't have them sign something? It's like, no, as long as you have your attorneys legally structured, or if you work through Jordan, you can have the language written in the original agreement, but you can send out new agreements, updated agreements to the patients from time to time when they change. But don't get a signature from them every single time. That's a bucket business.
No, it's a bucket.
Yeah, we want to stay away from those.
Absolutely. And then, like you said, like we've got a legal piece in our software where you can upload agreements. And then when the patient signs up, they read it, they see it, and they digitally sign for it, and it stores it into their account in our software. So yeah, it's super easy to do, and I highly recommend it because I've just seen so many issues with practices that are trying to manage these. It's hard on growth, really. If you really want to grow these programs, like our friend Dr. Phelps in his first year, he grew it to around 1,000 patients for his program. He did auto renewals, both on monthly and yearly plans. So it's like, that's how you grow it. That's how you retain patients.
That's the way to do it.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, the next step, which is the fourth area to make sure that you don't make a mistake in building your membership program, it's all about the price. And the price.
Absolutely.
You look at Amazon, you look at even in the dental industry, there are so many studies that are done on what's the best price point for a certain type of program, a subscription program, even my program with what I do with my insurance work, is that we've spent years trying to find exactly what the price point is. And it's not always that the price point mirrors the type of returns that the clients get, but that's okay. Businesses have to find psychologically what works best for volume, or what works best in this case for dentistry for quality. So talk about what the right price point is in terms of charging too much or too little for a membership program.
Yeah, so I've seen a whole bunch of practices just that have signed up through our software, and they've set up plans. I'll talk about too little, right? I've seen a practice that was charging I think it was like $10 a month for their membership program.
Wow.
And yeah, and I saw that they were doing that, and I called them up. I'm like, I don't know if that's the best pricing for this type of program. And then I gave him some suggestions. I love Dr. Phelps' pricing. I think his is like $300 a year, or $35 a month, something like that. That's a price point that I've seen become really successful. But $10 a month for a membership program, it's just not doable.
It's not. I agree.
I mean, I know what the doctor's thinking. He's like, well, if I get thousands of patients signed up on this, then it will be worth it. But I don't know. I wouldn't charge too little. And I talk about this quite a bit, is understanding what does it cost you, right? All the benefits that you're going to be offering in your program. What does it cost you? What does an exam cost you? Not what you charge the patient, but what's the hard cost?
Right.
Right. Or what is the hygiene, the cleaning? What does it cost you? Get according to whatever plan you're offering your patients. Get a list of the costs, the total costs, and then do a break-even analysis.
Right.
On that with according to what you're going to be paying. That's the easiest way. We've got a break-even calculator on our website. If you go to the resources tab of boomcloudapps.com. And I think scroll down, you'll see it says break-even analysis. But that's what this doctor essentially needs to do. For charging $10 a month, he needs to analyze his costs and make sure his pricing at least covers his costs.
Yeah.
You don't want to be paying for these patients to come and see you.
Yeah, in your article, you say that the average for an in-house membership program, a price to the patient is $25 to $30 a month.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, Jordan, but you're spot on with that.
And that's what I've just noticed in the industry, right?
Did you know that if I were employed, let's say by Intuit or some large corporation, Adobe or Micron Flash, that my contribution as an employee towards my dental plan is going to be anywhere between $20 and $30 a month.
Yeah.
And then the other half is supplemented by the employer. So in reality, the PPO plan is anywhere between $40 to $60 per month, but employees are used to paying $20 to $30 a month as their portion and contribution towards that benefit. So an in-house membership program, $20 to $30 per month, keeping in mind that yours is not an insurance plan, so it doesn't have to be at the $60 or $50 range per month. But what I do know is that people are used to paying $20 to $30 per month per patient, and so that price point there, in my opinion, for the benefits that are given are spot on. But again, I think using your price, what is it called, the price point analysis or
the break-even analysis is what I call it. Yeah, we got that. And it's just a really simple formula. If you don't want to use our calculator, there's a lot of them out there online, and the formula for that is in lots of you just Google break-even analysis. But obviously we have that for you to use on our site. Yeah. Because I've noticed that I want to become a resource to all these doctors out there, and break-even analysis is something that I use with everything I do in my business when I offer, because I want to know my costs.
Right.
I don't want to lose money. You got to know your break-even points.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, whether it's membership programs, understanding what you're charging for a crown, and what that actually costs you.
Yeah.
That's what I recommend doing there. And then the too much. I've seen a lot of practices do too much. And they may get some patients signing up, but it's not going to be a great amount.
Right.
I've seen like $600 a year or something. I think that's a little too much.
I think a lot of dental business owners do that because they're trying to go after the rich, the very rich.
Yeah,
You,
I
you
can see
remember
that.
you remember what we talked about with Scott McDonald, the demographics? Is
Yes,
that
yes.
going after the very rich isn't a good idea? I mean, if you're going after the 1%, good luck, because how many of the
Oh,
1% live within a within
your
a driving distance of your office?
your marketing is going to be very small,
I
like to
know.
that, and
Yeah.
you want to, yeah,
I mean,
I wouldn't,
how
I
many
wouldn't do
people
that.
out there drive a Lamborghini versus a Honda Civic? You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
We
that's yeah. You want to be targeting the masses, right?
Exactly. We want to
These
go after the
programs.
Honda Civic buyers, and that's why Honda and Toyota and these companies compete in that area because that's where the majority of their money is made, is where the
Absolutely.
income is, among the middle class. So,
Yeah, and I've seen now I've seen practices charge like around $49 a month for perio treatment, like membership program, which I think is pretty fair,
yeah,
for perio. But I'm talking, when I say $600 a year, I'm talking about just basic hygiene membership program,
yeah,
right, where they give them 2 cleanings away. I think that's too much, and they're just trying to. A lot of practices are just trying to make a ton of profit from the beginning, right from the get-go, from the membership fees. But obviously, you want to make profit. But the real profit, I was talking to Dr. Phelps about this the other day, the real profit comes in when those patients need crowns
that's
or
right.
fillings or dentures, anything on the restorative side. That's where the real money comes in.
Yep. The other the other thing about the target market that you're looking at, the uninsured.
Yep.
The uninsured, if you really think about it, they haven't had insurance for a number of years. Aren't they going to have at least a filling or crown or two? People
Oh
that
yeah. Oh yeah.
have neglected their dental needs for so long. So you're really targeting a market, a group of patients that have dental needs. And so I like that about figuring out the right price point. In every business, you have to know what it is.
Hmm.
Unless you're like a Ruth's Chris or a Fleming's or a Capital Grill or some of these, what's the other one that I went to at a conference a couple months ago? Where they don't care. Their brand is a name brand, and so they inflate the prices for the experience. But for
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
businesses out there, you just have to be smart about the price of delivering your business. And so, but I do believe $20 to $25 per month, doing 2 free cleanings a year, and then structuring it a discount from there on other services is very appropriate.
Yeah.
What about Jordan? Leading into number 5 here. So a lot of people put together, they talk about the whole, you put up the sign, you put up the shingles, and then patients start to walk in. We hear that
Yeah.
everywhere we go.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Why is this so different? I mean, why is this so similar to doing a startup practice or even buying an existing practice? Why do you have to market your dental benefit program?
Well, I mean, marketing is essential with anything you do in a practice. But if you're, wanting to launch a membership program for your practice, marketing is so important because, well, you can build a program, put it on your site, and or have brochures on it in your front desk. But nobody's gonna know about it unless you really reach out to people and market,
Right.
right? I had a practice the other day. I think they were in California or something. They signed up for our software, and our software integrates into your website, so patients can sign up online. And basically, this practice just put it on their website, and then came to me like a couple months later, like, we haven't been getting members signing up. I'm like, what have you been doing to market and promote your program? They're like, oh, we just put it on our website. I'm like, wait, so you haven't talked about this to your patient base? You haven't sent emails out? You haven't done a direct mail marketing campaign? And they're like, no, we just put it on our website. Nobody's signing up. I'm like, dentistry is an educational type of marketing. You
Right.
can't just put something up and people are going to sign up. Maybe some people do that, but the majority of people need to be educated, and that's where marketing comes in handy, right? Whether you're doing direct mail or sending emails through an automated service like RevenueWell. I know we've had several of our customers that use RevenueWell, and what they do is they figure out, which patients are uninsured, and they send a mass email out to all of those patients and connect them to the sign-up page for their membership program using our software. And that's a great way to market to your existing patient base, right?
Yep.
But that's the issue I see. Some practices will just implement it, get all the brochures and everything, but then they don't do anything to talk about it, to market it. They don't even talk to their existing patient base, which that's where the low-hanging fruit is.
Talk about that client of yours that you have. I think is in eastern Utah, right? Roosevelt or somewhere out there.
Oh yeah. So that's he's on her Dr. Thomason's on her website. His testimonial. His practice is having a great amount of success in a short amount of time. And I've been very impressed with what they're doing. And really, number one is they got their whole staff on board. And I think that's a very important thing to understand and to know, because I've dealt with practices that they start using our software, but then they don't educate to the staff what they're doing, which I kind of scratch my head at, because I'm like, your staff is the one that's going to be like managing this and pushing this for you, the dentist, right? The owner of the practice.
Right.
They're pushing it for you, but you got to get them on board. And that's what Dr. Thomason has done very well. In fact, I was so impressed. I went up there and traveled a day up there and spent a half day with them to see what they were doing. And the minute I walked in, somebody on their staff was on the phone talking, and I was right there in the front office hearing what she was saying, and she was educating a patient about their membership program.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
On the phone, and then I kept walking in the office, and there was another staff member signing another patient up while they were checking out. They're talking about the membership program, and that's something that they've done really well. And that's something that it's not hard to do. You get your staff motivated, you incentivize them, you can pay them commissions. A lot of people will charge like a $25, $35 setup fee, and pay that commission to the office manager or whoever's the person that told the patient and the patient signed up, right? That's what, a lot of practices do that. But Tomlinson, that practice up there, they've been talking a lot, educating their patient base about it. And I was talking to him the other day, and he's like, this is all patients that are uninsured that have had this issue. We've had them in our database, and now we're contacting them, right? And he signed up hundreds of patients.
Yeah, so
now in like 3 months.
His reoccurring revenue is like exceeds $10,000 a month, right?
It's getting there. It's definitely awesome what he's doing in such a short amount of time, Yeah. And it's all about marketing, and marketing is all just communication, right? It's communicating to your audience, your target market about the product or the service that you're offering. It's marketing. A lot of people try to make it seem like rocket science, but it's the most basic things you can do in your practice, and it's the most essential thing. Right? Not just with membership programs. It's just what you need to be doing all the time for your practice, because every practice has some sort of attrition with their patients.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's so critical. But with membership programs, if you're trying to grow it from scratch, you want to invest some money in marketing and get your staff involved to educate patients. Another thing that Dr. Thomason's office did, I was talking to their office managers, they have a consultation room where they take in all their patients when they're doing talking to them about treatment. And that's where they're in a private room. That's where they start educating about the membership program. And they've said that has worked very well. It's just being able to make it like a private conversation, and they feel like it's something that, that's worth their while with the patient when they take them into a consultation room and talk to them and educate them about these types of programs. Yeah. So that's some of the success they've had with this type of program.
So you went from 5 to 7, which is 5 is failing to market the benefit, and then 7 is not incentivizing staff to participate. So those are two really great key areas. Funny thing is, a few years ago, I had an inner ear infection. I get this thing whenever I go to the swimming pool, both my ears get infected, and one day I just couldn't hear out of either of them.
Yeah.
So I went to the urgent care, and they went through all these tests and stuff, and then wrote me a prescription, and then finally it came to the point where they were checking me out to talk about the financials and what I owed them that day. Mm-hmm. It was interesting. They said, okay, today you owe $280 something, and then they said, however, if you enroll with our in-house membership program, an in-house membership program that allows you to come in and here are the benefits. So she went over all these benefits. I was like, well, that's pretty cool. I can come here and this can be my place to go for any urgent care needs. But she said, if you do this today, it's only $125. If you decide not to do this, then your bill today with us is the $270 something that I owed.
Genius.
I know.
Genius.
And I was like, why would I not want to sign up for this program? There's no strings attached. There's nothing, that will tie me in. I can cancel at any time. So I did. And so,
which practice was that? Because I know of a lot of them here in Utah that are they're like the medic. Is it Medallis?
I can't remember. It's an urgent care off of Signal Butte and the US 60 in Arizona.
In Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
in Utah.
And I think about that all the time in dentistry because you have to find unique and creative ways to get people to enroll. I still get I didn't auto renew with them because of course we moved away and they don't have another facility up here. But I think I would have renewed with them if I stayed in Arizona. I mean, it's not bad. You get 1 or 2 free checkups a year with that fee. But of course, as a consumer or a patient, I'm thinking next time I have an urgent care need, I'm not going to go to the hospital first unless I'm dying. I'm going to go to urgent care.
That's a fortune.
Exactly. So out of sight, out of mind. I mean, when you don't have that opportunity to know where you want to go for your dentistry, you just guess. So that's another benefit in the marketing is people will come to you because you're their place now. So I guess we'll talk about the last one, Jordan, which is sending people away if they don't have insurance. I get this all the time.
This happens all the time. And it sounds simple, but it happens.
I get emails from clients saying, we have so many patients that are losing their insurance program, and we signed up with this company called Carrington where we get a small percentage of what Carrington gets to collect. We get a small percentage, Carrington collects it, and then Carrington forces us to take a bigger discount. It's like, well, you're then subsidizing the patient's care if you're doing that, and Carrington is getting paid for your hard work.
Oh yeah, and Carrington, they're obviously taking the membership fee,
right?
At least a big chunk of it, from what I understand. I've kind of looked into them, and then they force all the practices that accept them to give away free cleanings and stuff.
Exactly.
And that just. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Cleanings cost money.
Exactly. So you as the office should be collecting that membership fee, not a third party.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't send them to the insurance carriers. You just keep them in-house. Am I right, Jordan?
Yeah, well, that's what I always say, just because it's a lot of revenue that a lot of practices are leaving on the table, especially when a patient comes to the practice and said, hey, I'm losing my insurance. I'm going to have to go to another practice that it's easier to work with. But when you have a membership program, you can talk to that practice or that patient about the alternative and you can keep that patient. I was speaking to a practice earlier today about membership programs, and that's one of the biggest reasons why they want to get a membership program is because they want to have an alternative to dental insurance to retain those patients, because they're sick and tired of saying, our insurance changed, we can't go with you guys anymore. We love you guys, we love your practice, we love the doctor and the staff, but we got to go find another practice. Right. And in dentistry is what I like to call it's a service that patients want to have that hometown feel, right?
Yeah.
They want to know the people they go to. So when a patient is forced to leave to find another practice, it's hard for them because they've developed relationships with the doctor and the staff. And I know, I was talking to the doctor that I go to for dentistry, and I said, man, you guys, if I moved further south, an hour away from you guys, I'd still come and see you guys because, well, I like you guys. You guys, I feel like you're honest with me, and I just trust you guys, and that's a big thing in dentistry. So having a membership program, and not having to turn those patients down because they're losing their dental insurance is a wonderful thing when you have a membership program.
Yeah. So the whole objective here is to create a pipeline business and retire the bucket business. So
get rid of the bucket.
Exactly.
It's an old model. It's inefficient, and it's horrible.
It's not the way of the future for sure. So anyway, if anybody wants to get a hold of Jordan to ask more questions about the in-house membership program and the 7 mistakes that you can avoid, so email Jordan. It's JORDON at boomcloudapps.com. We'll post that on the website, on the show notes. And then you can also call him at 801-753-8586. Well, Jordan, this was great. I really appreciate you going through all this knowledge with us. Again, folks, we're going to have another guest here in about a week that's going to talk more along the lines of how to get out of your insurance contracts.
Awesome.
Yep. And so stay tuned for that one. But in the meantime, if you have any questions for Jordan and I, any other feedback, anything that you want to hear, particularly about any certain topic that we're talking about that we know about, or something in the industry that you want to hear about, just go ahead and send Jordan or myself an email, and we'd be happy to accommodate you. But Jordan, thanks again, buddy. Cool. It was a great show. I appreciate all the knowledge that you shared.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ben. You have a good one.
You too. Thank you.